Cancer. This is your March 2025 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. It's Romy. Thanks so much for joining me on the channel. We're opening up this month for you with the Knight of Wands. The word I want to give you for March is renewed. It's really time, isn't it? Now, March has a power surge going on astrologically. We're going to begin on the 1st of the month with Venus retrograde in Aries, moving into Pisces on the 27th. So for the next 40 days, 40 nights, you are deepening and really getting to know all parts of yourself. I want you to actually cast your mind back 8 years ago and think about what was going on, because there are key themes and choices that emerge from those themes that are coming back around. And it will be really interesting for you to reflect on where you are now and how much you've grown. You've cultivated such wisdom in this period of time, and it's helped you to see life very differently. But what's clear with the Knight of Wands is that, there's movement and action that is required here. Now you can see the distance from the two figures, and it's almost like where you are versus where you want to be, and it almost feels that that distance at times just doesn't seem to be getting any smaller. And yet there's something about how March stirs things up. You can thank both eclipses coming in, the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse this month. And also the way in which Venus and Mercury, in fact, back spinning is helping to sort of reveal things. Oftentimes, remember, when we're in these retrograde energies, it's not about force, it's allowing things to just flow in and be presented to us. And then we hit that real sweet spot of knowing exactly the right time to take the action. It feels to me that there are seeds that you have planted and they're about to burst through, and it's almost like this, oh, there you are moment, okay? Now, yes, when we see these retrograde energies with Venus, it can be a little bit destabilizing with regards to relationships. We also have, unexpected events and situations occurring with the eclipses, often things happening in threes. And so be prepared that, there can be a little bit of tumultuous energy moving through the course of this month. But what I'm really feeling for you is that everything that you're going through is absolutely setting you up for something very specific. And if there is pressure, if there are changes, if things do suddenly seem to dissolve or disintegrate, it's almost like the pressure that may come with that sort of reveals the diamond. And one of the phrases that I really want you to hold close to you really all the way through March is that was then and this is now, because so much has changed, and it's really easy to start looking through the lens of who you used to be or how things used to be. And everything has transformed, and death really is reminding you that that metamorphosis, that transition stage that you're still in, you're still going through, does want to be recognized, respected and honored in March. And when you can approach it in that way, it feels to me that then a lot of the things that you're going to be bumping back up against with this Venus back shifting period, but also, just when things do come in, perhaps a little bit more in that kind of curveball energy, that you're really holding an open mind and an open heart. Now, we're in 9th house energy when we move through Pisces, and it feels to me that, you are leaning into something quite significant about a dream or a vision or an idea, and just almost seeing how it's starting to come to life. Like you're giving oxygen to it in the first part of the month ahead. And so the wisdom and the knowledge that's been acquired and accumulated needs somewhere to land, like it needs somewhere to go. And I actually really like the attitude and approach of this Knight of Wands for you, because I feel it's very motivating and revitalizing, and it just really helps you to sort of deepen this relationship with yourself. There's a boldness and a sort of brightness almost that comes through. Now, we're going to be approaching the lunar eclipse full moon in Virgo on the 13th. And, we're being invited here, right, to release particularly the inner critic and the judging that goes on, especially if you've got any imposter syndrome creeping in. The need to try to control or micromanage is also coming to the surface. Three of Swords actually gives you some clarity here. And like I said, this can feel like a month that sort of breaks open a lot, okay? And sometimes we need a breakdown to have a breakthrough, and it's just a release point. The energy just has expanded so much that it's just bursting forth, and it's looking for an opportunity to shift and to change things, and that includes in your own energy field. Now remember, this year I talked about being like a manifesting masterclass, and one of the things that you're really going to find to be a new focus for you is understanding that in order to sort of take your manifesting to the next level, your energy field needs to be strong. It needs to be clear and vibrant, no tears, no leaks. And so there is a requirement for that detoxification, for that energy hygiene, to really ensure that you are not at the point of exhaustion and depletion. So going back to basics, and that full moon in Virgo, remember the link into your health will also be highlighted. The rituals and the day-to-day things that you're doing that are harmful or healing. And you're going to make shifts and changes around that, because that directly affects how strongly your vital life force, that auric field, that energy field is. And your energy needs to be strong for what you're about to pull into your life, okay? So that Three of Swords can be an uncomfortable truth, a realization, a breaking open, and yes, an ending perhaps that comes along with it some grief. But at the same time, as I said, there's this bursting through energy. I also want to say to you that this is a month where we really say that guilt is not a helpful emotional frequency to attach yourself to. So whether you are feeling guilty or somebody is trying to guilt trip you, whatever it is and however that might be creeping in, time to really question it and, see actually that it doesn't have any validity at this moment, and it can be incredibly draining and distracting, okay? Your high priestess energy is working with you powerfully, reminding you that actually you're on the right track. There's something about what you think in March, what you're believing, what you're intuiting, and I'm going to say you're on it, you're 100%. So what next? What now? Okay, now Juno, asteroid goddess, is also stationing retrograde in Sagittarius on the 19th. So look, it's a complete, I want to say, opportunity to revisit and renegotiate, especially regarding, the terms of relationships. Now, maybe it's romantic relationship, but it also could be, a partnership, a friendship. It could be an agreement that you're signed up to, a contract even. And remember, Juno in Sagittarius wants more freedom, and she wants to ensure that those terms are also helping her to continue to grow and acquire new knowledge and look out to the horizon to see what more there is. And so this whole period of March is so interesting because there's a lot of inner reflection and pouring back over things to improve upon them, so that as you take the giant leap forward, which is happening simultaneously, it's in the right divine order for you. And there your high priestess is almost just keeping you connected and anchored with your higher self, okay? Now, equinox arrives on the 20th. This is the time to use your rituals and to really connect rather than the eclipses. It's a time for something to be rebalanced in your world. The Chariot, along with the Knight of Wands, indicates that maybe there's some travel or a specific trip that needs to be made. If you feel the pull or the call to visit somewhere, particularly connected into nature in and around equinox, it's going to be super beneficial for you, grounding your energy, giving you something that again is supporting that vital life force for you. I also think that you have a successful outcome to something when you're able to trust yourself And in trusting yourself, that also means you're going to know when the time to act is and when the time to sit back and just observe and absorb, listen, and then really take the time to process, to ensure that what you're about to say or what you're about to do is in a, the alignment that you want and is representative of this version of you that is expanding and moving. And really, that degree of like self-discernment and self-awareness is everything. It really is part of this sort of setup. And when you catch yourself, right, because you will, when you catch yourself being triggered or wanting to respond in a certain way or go back to the old version of you, remember that was then, this is now. It's just really simple, but it's really refocusing, I think, and just giving yourself that pause in the moment really matters. Now, there's some big news coming on the build up to that solar eclipse, new moon in Aries, okay? I feel like something that you have been waiting for finally seems to be communicated or presented or available. We've got the Emperor here, so it's it's got some kind of weight to it. It's making impact, it's making a difference, and it matters. It also will, along with the Chariot, you see, I feel, be something that you're gonna maybe be able to feel a bit more secure and a bit more in control with regards to, and that matters also because it may have felt for you for some time that you've been sort of trying to move forward in a path, not really knowing, or just kind of on a wing and a prayer at times, and just sort of feeling your way without really having that clear direct sign or response from the universe, but showing up in a really tangible, practical way. This is the month I see it happening. We do, though, however, with that Emperor also have conditions. And it feels to me you're going to want to just take a moment. And again, around that solar eclipse, there's a lot of ambition, there's a restlessness, but there's also a bit of combative energy. And it may be that you're sort of at loggerheads a little bit, maybe with that Emperor energy or with something that has been presented. Maybe it feels too constrained. Now remember, because you're going back through these Venus and Mercury retrogrades, Mercury shifting, by the way, on the 14th, you're going to want to just take the time to make sure you really understand what has been presented. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, it's just it would be really easy to just read it once or listen to it once and think you know what it meant. And actually it's not necessarily quite what it was, okay? So you're going to want to listen time and time again. You're definitely going to want to fact check, and you want to maybe go back and just confirm, is this what you meant? Is this what I'm, picking up correctly? And also remember that things could shift again when these planets go direct. So you might have to revisit anything that was agreed upon anyway by way of a commitment. However, I still feel that you're in a really strong position. You're in a really strong position. And the Emperor is going to help you with the strategy. So if you've also been sort of floundering around a little bit in terms of trying to figure out the plan or how to deal with something, what to do next, like how do I even tackle this? There's something coming along in the sort of period of time between equinox and the solar eclipse on the 29th that's going to be incredibly valuable for you, okay? And all of this energy is supporting and helping this sort of sense of renewal that we see coming through for you, okay? We have, of course, through Aries season, the movement into your 10th house, and it certainly feels that ambition, is resurfacing maybe, or almost just the sense of you realizing, actually, I want it a lot more than I thought I did. So that comes in to be considered mindfully, and also may have you rethinking something at the last minute, okay? Now, these eclipses, of course, they may affect you externally. It might be an internal shift that's taking place, depending on how it's coming through your natal chart. But one thing to be clear about is, they're disruptors in a way. They bring things to light that need to be understood, but that can often sort of put us in a at times precarious place as we sort of realize that the best laid plans or our expectations are now no longer valid, or something has changed or shifted so irrevocably. It's like, okay, what now? So if you find yourself in that moment, remember Venus is offering choices. So go back to what happened 8 years ago and think about who you were, what you went through, what you came up against, and how it's changed you, and the wisdom that you now hold as a result of not just those experiences, but everything that's happened since then. And then ask yourself the question again, because even just taking a moment to reflect is going to help you to sort of come back in a more grounded way to respond to what the universe is laying out for you. And remember, everything is in divine order. So this is also about a setup for you, even if it feels that it's actually coming in and sort of, shifting something or dissolving something or breaking something. The creator energy that is generated at this time for you is powerful and potent, and you need to sit and just kind of take a perspective to start seeing things very differently. But you will be taking action. Your Knight of Wands and your Chariot is absolutely clear on that in March, so don't be feeling it's more of a wait and see. Far from it. This power surge is powerful. It's almost like a Pandora's box moment, I think, through the month of March. Very important one for us to really get a clear insight as to how things are starting to really shape up for you through the course of 2025. And you're going to feel bold, actually. You're going to feel like, you know what, it's now or never. I may as well. There's that kind of, if you've been sitting on the fence or wondering if something or, the timing was right for you, I think you're just going to go and jump in with both feet, actually, in one area, particularly through the month of March. And that could be a bit of an exciting, thrilling ride. It might be something that you'd never expected yourself to be involved in or aligned with. Nonetheless, again, it's another pathway that's taking you forward in your destiny right now. So, if you are new to the channel, the last 3 cards we're going to look at in the extended version of my reading. You can find the link in the comment and description box underneath. Talk for another 25 minutes or so. We'll look at a personal and a relationship card for you. I'm also just going to clarify these and see the direction that we're going to be taking this reading. We've got another 3 of Swords, 5 of Cups. There could be an upset coming through, something that feels to you. But remember, 3 Swords is old pain, so it's a sort of returning. And, sometimes when these planets are retrograde, it feels like we're reliving an experience, but we're not reliving it exactly the same way. Another High Priestess, you really have evolved and you really have learned from it, but perhaps you're now finally ready to face some sort of upset or old pain energy that, for many reasons is just not something that you've been able to tap into or give yourself permission to explore. Ace of Wands. Okay, what about this 3 of Swords? 2 of Swords. Another Knight of Wands. Okay. Please do take a moment, check out my website, romywiser.com. You're going to find ways to work with me. You can check out my personal reading offers, also my oracle and my journal, my book, all of these sacred titles here to support you in your spiritual journey, and all the other services that I've put together to be on offer for you. So romywiser.com. We've got Temperance and the 9 of Cups. Okay, all the decks are always listed below as well, Cancer. Okay, all right. Now we also have Neptune coming out of Pisces, shifting into Aries on the 30th for this next cycle. So you'll be feeling that, you're going to start to have a sense of this new energetic conversation that's happening. Earth, medicine and magic cast their spells. The collective heart. It's a really revolutionary time for you, Waves crash and stars fall. We've got third eye energy, awakened vision. The wishing tree along with the 9 of Cups, always a nice combination for something coming through. that's why I'm saying it's like a seed you've planted, and that moment of like, oh, there you are. It's just like, I thought you were never going to turn up, and here you are in perfect time. All right, one final oracle for Cancer for the month of March. What do we have for you? Okay, we've got the energy of transitions. You have all of the inner resources you need to cross whatever bridges arise on your path. I like that. Okay, thank you. I hope you'll join me on the extended. Have a really beautiful month of March. Enjoy these power surges. Take the time to work with your rituals for equinox especially. I'm going to see you again next time.